show them the difference.
I'ma show them it's a difference. I'ma only say this once, you better listen. When West is where it started, so you know that's where it finished. We got one main objective, nigga, let's complete the mission. We explaining what the who, lead them bitches in they feelings. Snub on me, only time I put my nose inside your business. I don't want my gun to show, so I wear my shirt bigger. This is our world, cause if this was your world, I'd be the villain. Break his whole block down, all I gotta do is business. Stuffing Mac shell drums, turn your crib to Sunday dinner. You don't live here, you visit, this my shit, it's a difference. I don't do lean, Lobos in my cup is what I'm sipping. I don't do dreams, I just say a prayer, go and get it. And it all work out, you know this ain't for play, this ain't for fun. I've been destined for this shit, niggas know that I'm the one. This shit can go 100 yards, you would think I kicked a punt. You would think I had a flare gun on go, you niggas run. They like he an Israelite, all he rap about is guns. Bitch, I'm an Israelite that own a lot of guns. What that nigga said who? Tell him watch the grind. Yeah, you must be crazy if you ever think of stopping mine. Knock all of the chains out you niggas, make them drop a dime. This tourist hold 12, it is not a zodiac sign. Piss me off, get me in my bag, make me drop a bomb. Drop a nuke, make the world freeze, I can stop the time. Watch what you do, cause once you do it, you can't press rewind. On purpose, I do the opposite, so nigga cross the line. This is different, I ain't looking for trouble, but on point, case you think I rap. Turn him to a vegetable, lead this nigga cabbage patch. No new niggas with me, if you see him, then they got my back. Got it out the mud, big stepping, you can see the tracks, follow me. I could teach you something, have her see relax. If you gon' speak on anything, just make sure it's fact. It's a difference, we are not the same, help them notice that. Pay attention, watch how we move, we can know we can't. Hang around all real niggas and we move as one. This ain't Fortnite, get into it, ain't no 1v1. The smoke I bring to you, you can't take it in with your lung. Life about warfare, we just make it look fun. She asked what kind of oil I got on, I told her give them some. What's the only real niggas left, you better get you one. Chicken shop, giving out wings if I pull a drum. It's a difference, you better watch your words before you eat your tongue. Scrape the whole plate, not a trace nor leave a crumb. Ice falling off the watching chain like it's freezer burn. Daring somebody to say my name, I will eat for him. Loyalty means everything, so I don't eat with them.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, busy man shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga.
Okay, when Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like stamps and I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, oh they lies, this hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying. This shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert. Another cop just stretch the nigga. He a demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening. Is in fact the If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Ripper. War, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it Young Baby. How you real trigger know them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? What he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit light. It ain't about who got this gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. 6 shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you will never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow side, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Commanding General YAHANNA will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle. Finally, the truth about King James a black man who helped to preserve and safeguard the Bible. Live September 29th, 2023. Commanding General Yahanna, live at King James Castle in Scotland. Come on down and support the I.S.U.P.K. UK. Lift the glass, come and join the Brotherhood and drink with the ancient as we celebrate and keep the Feast of Tabernacles for our King Yahawashah in King James Castle, bringing his crew of heavy hitters. Commanding General Yahanna will put 12 shield General Muhammad scripture breakdown class up against anyone, against any biblical scholar, untested, unchallenged, I.S.U.P.K, undefeated. Leviticus chapter 23, the Feast of Tabernacles in a black man's castle, hosted in Scotland, the United Kingdom, UK. Commanding General Yahanna will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle, Thursday, September 28th, Scripture Breakdown class. Friday, September 29th, there will be a King James Castle tour, also a Johnny Walker Distillery tour, and Friday night, the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles. Saturday, September 30th, we will have camp on the streets of England. Sunday, October 1st, the UK Cookout. Monday, October 2nd, the Warwickshire Castle Tour. I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yahanna at King James Castle in England. This is an absolutely monumental, historical event. Want us
to stop. But man, don't we deserve a shot? Don't we deserve a shot to be the Lord's people? Israel, let's do it!
Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn right, I'm a UPK nigga. Straight out of one West, no contest. We the best to the niggas that's living, trying to contend with the stress. Going through the test, no access, cause you oppressed. Slaves, niggas is dying off in waves. Living in dirt, now it's a grave. Niggas cross-talk through the crosswalking or the white chalk over the bodies of roads that you paid. America's killing us, saying they fearing us. Put the drugs in the hood, now my niggas delirious. Put a gun in my face, all because of my race. Click, boom, flash, put some Skittles and murder my ass. Like a sheep to the slaughter, heart beating harder and harder. Baptized with these words, never dipping in water. So now we pray to the Father, give strength to the Father that's looking for the marauders. That's fucking taking our daughters, nigga, it's wartime. Lights up, nigga, showtime. Got the green light on that ass, yeah, go time. Either boot up, shut up, but get your ass up. Cause we ain't got time to be playing this all fucked up America. Heaven for the thief, hell for the slave. Reaping what you sow, meaning giving back what you gave for a clean slate. You try to imitate, you was always fake. America, every city, state, this is your fate. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America.
Touring on the timeline, giving the rhythm to expose the intricacies of advanced vibe. Doing my, but I ain't shit, but getting lit is a pastime. So in a minute, I'ma pass out.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shabbat to all the brothers, Yahweh Atam Bashim Yahweh to all the sisters. And just like every Tuesday night, you understand, 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So like it for the late start, we have the Brotherhood class taught by me, myself, and I. Officer 500 Barak Ya'ala with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. Ever since 1969, we've been teaching that the people that known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the actual true biblical Jews of antiquity, the 12 tribes that the Bible speaks of, right? And tonight is going to be part 2 of last week's class, which was, you know, it's going to come time where, I mean, the time is there where you have to pick a side. You have to be siding either with your people and stand, and you have to side with either the oppressed or the oppressor. You cannot be on both sides. You're going to have to understand this. Tonight is the part 2 of last week's class, right? We're going to see, especially that the fact that what we speak about last week, we gave you the example last week on the Alabama brawl, the Montgomery brawl, right? That happened in Montgomery, Alabama, where clearly you've seen that you had to pick a side. You understand? You had to be either with your people or against your people. And I told you last week that there were going to be more racial motivated events like what happened in Montgomery, Alabama. Come to find out, this week there was a shooting in Jacksonville, Florida, a racial motivated shooting in Jacksonville, Florida. Some devil that, as we know, if you're not familiar yet, the devil, hey, SHALAM, we have Officer Kazaka Imad in the chat. Water for tuning in, other one. You understand? For those who are not familiar, right, the devil is the so-called oppressor, the Caucasian race, right? They're the devil that the Bible speaks of. Why we call them devil? Because devil meaning deceiver. They deceive the whole earth. They lie to the whole entire planet Earth. You understand? And come to find out, there's a devil that I think he shot at 3 people in Jacksonville, Florida. And like I told you last week, there's going to be more instances of racial motivated events, which should be for you, Rasa, so-called black man, Hispanic, Native Indian men and women. It should be wake-up calls for you that you have to separate from these other nations, and you have to gather together as one people, because we are one family in the first place. The only reason why we're divided is because of our oppressors, especially the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, who is also known as the Caucasian race. They taught us to separate each other. They taught us to hate each other. But the I.S.U.P.K is here to dispel all the lies. We're here to tell you that you need to gather yourself together. As a matter of fact, let's get into some scripture right now. Right? We're going to show you that even if you want to side with your oppressor, something cannot be helped. The Most High is revealing the disgusting, abominable nature of this oppressor. And everything that we're going to talk about, everything that we always talk about is biblical. We could prove it biblically. We could see it out there in the world, right? The spirit of the man that you think is your savior because of the Roman Catholic Church, the spirit of the people that Martin Luther King wanted you to march alongside with, at the end of the day, you know, we're going to get into that as well, is being revealed to the whole earth. You're seeing the disgusting spirit of the Caucasian race, right? But let me stop rambling for a second. Let's just go. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show it to you right now in the scriptures, right? You understand? And if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to put in the chat. We're streaming on TikTok, I.S.U.P.K Toronto, YouTube, I.S.U.P.K Toronto, Facebook, I.S.U.P.K Canada, YouTube and Facebook as well, and Twitter as well, I.S.U.P.K Toronto. So feel free to put any question in the chat. You understand? Or comments. Snake, you see that? Listen, trolls will be ignored. Snake, I'm not even Jamaican, so I'm not even know what you're talking about. But let's get into it, right? Let's go into the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter. We're gonna go chapter 15, right, in the Apocrypha, verse 8. You understand? If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put in the chat, right? 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 8, it says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. Listen, the Most High is exposing the spirit of these devils. The Most High is not keeping his mouth shut no more. Like, you're seeing the spirit of, what's his name? The Charleston shooter, Dylan Roof, Peyton Gendron, whatever name has that devil that shot up a sister or 3 people in Jacksonville, Florida. The name of these devils in Alabama, in Montgomery, Alabama, whatever the case is, the Most High is exposing them. You understand? The Most High is not going to hold his tongue no more. He's not going to keep his mouth shut no more. You cannot commit a hate crime and sweep it under the rug anymore. This has been over with. Whatever y'all do, y'all going to be exposed to the world. Like, everyone's going to see how evil and wicked America is. Everyone is seeing how evil and wicked Canada is. France is burning down because the Most High is exposing how much of an oppressive nation the French people are. You understand? And there is nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do. You want to complain about being exposed? Go complain with God. File a complaint with the Most High. You understand? Besides that, the Most High is exposing everyone, right? And there's nothing you can do. It's that Officer Yawaram in the chat as well. The water for tuning in, right? But it can't be helped. You understand? The oppressors are being exposed. Let's read that again. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 8. It says, and so okay, let's go to verse 7 to just to let you know it's the Most High who's saying this, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 7. It says, therefore saith the Lord, verse 8, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. Let's keep reading. Which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Listen, you cannot sweep it under the rug anymore. Have you seen, I think it was in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken, there is a squad of police, of 6 police officers. They call themselves the Goon Squad, right? They damn near kidnapped these 2 brothers because they were holding them hostages. You understand? In their own house. They held them hostages and they tortured them for like 2 hours. They were exchanging tasers between themselves and testing them on the brothers to see which taser is the strongest. They also, one of the officers put his firearm in one of the brothers' mouth and pulled the trigger. So like for lack of better words, because of TikTok, I need to be careful. I would say the projectile, right? The ammunition came out of the brother's neck and broke the brother's jaw. You understand? They even try to sexually assault these brothers. How, you may ask? For whatever reason, these 6 police officers were carrying sex toys with them. And that's the people you still want to join? Hold hand in hand together? You need to understand, you need to separate from these evil bastards. You understand? For whatever reason, listen, I can't even tell you why would a police officer on the job carry a sex toy, but clearly they try to molest these brothers. And, you know, we're not here to speculate, but you could tell it was clearly not the first time they tried to do that. They probably did molest other brothers and sisters in the past, but they were caught this time. And it is televised. And they were arrested for that. The Most High was not holding his tongue no more. You cannot sweep that under the rug. You're being exposed. Hey, Shalom, I.S.U.P.K Jamaica in the chat. Officer Abadawan or Officer Kayadawan in the chat. The water for tuning in. You understand? Feel free to chime in if you want to be a part of the class. Any men above me, any officer or 50 in the U.P.K as well, tuning in. Feel free to send an invite, right? It's the Brotherhood class, you understand? But we need to understand that we cannot join these oppressors. What Martin Luther King did was against the Most High. Martin Luther King, at the end of the day, he wasn't even thinking for his people. He was thinking with his rod. He was thinking with his penis. He was not thinking about the you know, making his people better, whatever the case is. You understand? Martin Luther King was a sexual deviant who wanted to sleep with white women. Salakia, oppressors. You understand? That's all it is, right? Let's jump down a bit further. We're gonna go. We're still in 2nd Ezra chapter 15, right? Let's go into We're gonna go into 2nd Ezra 15. Yeah. We're gonna jump down into verse 12. You understand? The Most High is destroying this place, and every single nation is going to witness the destruction of this wicked empire, which is the empire of our oppressor, the Caucasian race. You understand? They're going to witness the destruction of these oppressors, and they are never going to be able to build any other empire ever again. That empire, that oppressive empire that we have, the I'm gonna call it the rebirth of the Roman Empire, which is just another version of the Egyptian Empire, another version of the Babylonian Empire, which is why it's called Babylon. It said this is the last empire on earth before our righteous rulership, right? So when we say that you need to pick a side, that you need to separate, which side are you gonna pick? Are you gonna pick the side of that empire that is crumbling down to never that is never gonna be built back up again? Or are you gonna, side with the empire that is being building up from the ground, that can never be destroyed, that can never be brought down ever? Which side are you gonna pick? You cannot pick both sides. You cannot try to fix the empire that is crumbling down and build the empire that is coming up. Yes, as a matter of fact, before we continue with second Ezra, I'm gonna show you that in the scriptures, right? I showed you that last week, but I'm gonna show you that again, just to refresh our minds. Let's go into Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. You're gonna see that you're gonna have to pick a side. You can't be on both sides. And so you can't play for both teams. You can't play for the winners and the losers. You can't be neutral. You cannot be Switzerland. Even Switzerland is not neutral. They're gonna have to pick a side too. And you're gonna come to a time where it's only really blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. They're gonna have to choose the side they want to pick. Be part of that empire that's coming down, the empire that is being built up, right? Again, if anyone has any questions or comments, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, feel free to put them in the chat, right? We're jumping into the New Testament in the book of Matthew chapter 6, verse 24, where it reads, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other." This is Christ speaking. Christ is telling you can't be on both sides. You can't side with the oppressed and the oppressor. If you try to side with the oppressed and then side with the oppressor, you're going to hate the oppressed. Why? Because the oppressor is oppressing the oppressed. I mean, this is not even rocket science. I don't even know how it's hard to fathom for y'all. In the I.S.U.P.K, we know which side to pick, you understand? Outside the I.S.U.P.K, there is no one who's fighting for our people. No one. Prove me wrong. That's it. Anyone in the chat, prove me wrong. Until then, just shut your mouth and just put it on black, tune into these classes, and join the ranks. That's it. If not, if you can't prove us wrong, I mean, just if you don't want to, if you don't want to be on the front lines, just stick to the sidelines. Listen, don't think we need numbers. We don't need numbers. You understand? We got brotherhood, and the Most High is with us. But the point is, listen. Let me keep reading. Right? Let's read that again. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other." If you're gonna side with the oppressed and the oppressor, you will hate the oppressed. I just explained it to you. It's not even rocket science. I don't even know why it's difficult to understand. If you're gonna side with your people and the enemy of your people, you're gonna hate your people, because the enemy has no love for your people. The oppressed should not expect anything else but oppression from its oppressor. So what makes you think that you're gonna be able to side with the oppressor and help the oppressed at the same time? You understand? Let's keep reading, and I'm gonna address a couple comments, right? You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot be with the I.S.U.P.K, and you cannot agree with the I.S.U.P.K and be in a so-called. You cannot agree with the I.S.U.P.K and be in the IUIC. I'm gonna just say it straight like that. You cannot be in the I.S.U.P.K and be with Sakari or whatever Christian Israelite group there's out there. You can't. Because you cannot serve God and be with hypocrites. You cannot serve God and side with child molesters. You cannot serve God and side with police that would lock up their brothers for no goddamn reason and assault them and unalive a sister after drugging her because they laid an African in their congregation. You cannot do that. No, it's not the mathing in that case. It's not working. Listen, you cannot be outside the I.S.U.P.K and agree with us. You can't. You understand? You can't do that, because that would mean that that's just them near a Christian who's agreeing with us. Christians, they can't agree with us. The reason why Christians, they can't agree with us, because they're sinners and we're not. You understand? It's like you can't say, well, I follow the Most High and I eat pork. You can't do that. It's not working. The Most High said don't eat pork, but you say you follow him and you eat pork, is damn near, that contradiction is damn near lunacy. You can't be pro-black or pro-brown, you know, proud to be Latino, proud to be a Negro, proud to be Native, and sleep with a Caucasian woman. You can't do that. You can't. It's for lack of better words, counterproductive. And just like Martin Luther King, he was not marching for his people. He was marching for his lust. He just wanted to sleep with white women. And what happened then? After his dream of having an orgy with a couple of white women, you know, came to fruition, he said, well, guess what? My dream was a nightmare. That's what he said. You understand? You can't side with the oppressor and the oppressor. You have to pick a side. And just like the church shooting in Charleston, North or South Carolina with Dylan Roof, whatever, is in the Carolinas somewhere, North or South with Dylan Roof, just like Peyton Gendron in Buffalo, New York, right? Just like the Montgomery brawl or that Jacksonville shooting, there's going to be more racial motivated events like this that should be wake-up call for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? And I'm going to show you where the Most High said, not even, first of all, he said to separate from them, but I'm going to show you where the Most High made us separated, like he intentionally made us separated from the other nations. And I'm going to show you where he's telling us to separate. All right. We're going to go into Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And before I read the scriptures, I'm going to address some of these comments on TikTok. Let me get the verse real quick. And if you think you could put like 10 comments at the same time and expect me to address all these comments at once, yeah, think again. T-Tall said, why do you wear the star, bro? This is not a star. Clear done. The star is a ball of fire or a metaphor to talk about someone with a high status, like a celebrity, you know. This is not a star. It's the shield of David. It's the Magan Dawada in the Hebrew. Mr. Potato said, I love my people. Good for you. I hope, listen, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, you need to love your people because no one else loves us or our people. But if you're not, I mean, it is what it is. Love your people. Who can stop you? Shalom, Yabashta, Ra'aj Karab in the chat. De Los Angeles, y'all the most cult-like camp in the world. We're not a camp, we're a school, and I don't know how we're a cult. You're probably a Christian, you understand, who jumps in down in the church, and you want to call us a cult, and no sweat. We don't give a damn about the name calling. Call us whatever you feel like. Who cares? Benito Carpenter said, go Power Rangers, Most High in Christ. Henny said the wild man from the underground. If you're a Caucasian man, I believe you. Benito said, why did the Romans describe the Jews as looking like them? Are you the real Italians too? Listen, show me where the Romans described the Jews as looking like them, number one. And second, the real Italians were not even Caucasian people. First of all, listen, the reason why they call themselves Caucasian people, because they come from the Caucasus Mountains, from the steppes of Georgia, Russia. The term Europeans, they even stole that term. It's just what we call them today because they call themselves that. Just like we call them Americans today. Well, they're not the Native Americans. They're not the Native Canadians. They're not even the Australians, but we call them by the name they call themselves, right? Before Italians, they were Europe. The European continent used to be ruled by dark-skinned people. So no, regardless, they're not the real Italians, if that's what you want to ask. The star of your head is okay. Yeah, I already answered that question. Could you please read it in Hebrew so us other Israelites can follow along? Not everyone understands Hebrew, so I'm not going to read it in Hebrew. If you want to learn a Hebrew, if you want a Hebrew class, we have Hebrew classes every Friday night. Lashwan Kodash, tune into I.S.U.P.K, YouTube, Lashwan Kodash, and you have your Hebrew class. Mr. Potato says, you're white, you love your people. Yeah, keep loving your people, no sweat. But guess what? You know, before I read to you that God made us separate from the other nations, the nation of Israel, I'm going to address Mr. Potato's comment that God hates your people, specifically God hates every single nation that is not Israelite, but he specifically said he hates your people and that there's nothing he can do about it, right? Let's go into Romans chapter 9, verse 13. That's for Mr. Potatoes, right? Romans chapter 9, verse 13. It says, as it is written, meaning it was written before that. I'm going to show you where after that, right? As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. For those tuning in for the first time, and just give you a quick breakdown. Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, is the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Who are the people known today as the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians who were in slavery in the Americas and in the Caribbean islands. So he said he loves those people. He loves the Mexicans. He loves the Haitians. He loves the so-called Negro of America. He loves the West Indians. He loves the Native Americans, the Seminole. That's who God loves. But then he said, but Esau have I hated. Esau, whose name is also Edom, forefather of the Edomites, the kingdom of Idumea, is the forefather of the Caucasian race. So, Mr. Potatoes, God said he hates your people. And it says, as it is written, meaning it was written before the New Testament, right? And I'm going to show you where. We're going to go in the Old Testament in the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 2, where it says, Malachi chapter 1, verse 2, I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau's Jacob's brother, said the Lord? Yet I love Jacob. Most, understand. So we're inquiring about, if Esau is Jacob's brother and God loves Jacob, isn't, why shouldn't he love Esau, right? That's a good question. Let's keep reading. Verse 3. I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for dragons of the wilderness. The Most High said in the Old Testament he hates the Caucasian race, and he said it again in the New Testament, Romans 9 verse 13, as it was written in the Old Testament that he hates Esau and your Caucasian race. Mr. Potatoes, the Most High hates you and your race, and let's see what you can do about it, because maybe you're gonna say it's a hateful speech, I'm racist, whatever. I don't give a damn, because this is not my personal opinion. I'm reading straight out of 1611 King James Version of the Bible. You could go check it yourself. Romans chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, which already broke down. Jump down to verse 14. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? What can you say about that? If God hates someone, is it unrighteous? Let's see what he said. Let's see what he has to say about that. Right? God forbid. There's nothing you can do about it. God forbid. It's not unrighteous for God to hate, to love and hate anyone. You understand? Give me 1 second. It's not unrighteous for God to love and hate whoever he wants to love and hate. And then he'll say it himself. Right? Verse 15, for he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. You can't decide who God loves and hates. The Most High does whatever the hell he wants to do. He's God at the end of the day. I mean, go tell God he can't do something. Go take it up with him. File a complaint with the Most High. If you disagree with what I'm saying, I don't really give a damn. It is what it is. You don't even have to be there. I'm really here for my people, which is the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indians who were slaves in the Americas and the Caribbean, who are the true biblical Jews that the Bible speaks of. And I'm here to let them know that they need to separate from especially your people, from all people, but especially your people, because at the end of the day, if we don't separate from your people, we're gonna fall victims at the bullets that your people are shooting at us every day, whether it's the police, whether it's the right wing, whether it's the Trump supporters, whether it's the liberals, whether it's the Canadian government, the French government. It don't matter. Your people despise us, and they always despise us. This is why we have to separate from your people, because judgment is coming to the earth, and the Most High is even telling us we better gather together before the judgment of the Lord comes. I'm just paraphrasing, but after the scripture I was about to read you about us being separated, that the Most High made us separate, I'm going to show you where the Most High said we need to gather together before it's too late, right? And that also, I'll show you that the Most High said we need to separate, not love the society, and that we need to separate from this society, because it's fallen and it's never going to come back up ever again. Our kingdom is build it up. We're going to be in rulership. And you think we're going to be in rulership right next to the devil that enslaved us? I think it's a good night. You're a lunatic if that's the case. You understand? Let's keep. So before I'm going to read like a few more comments and then we'll jump to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. The I.S.U.P.K identified as a hate group. We feel sorry for you, General YAHANNA. Listen, first of all, it's not General YAHANNA, it's commanding General YAHANNA. Second, we don't identify as a hate group. We don't hate nobody, really. You know, I don't, whoever's in the chat, I've never seen y'all, whatever the case, I'm only interacting with y'all in the chat. I don't know how you can say I hate you. I'm just reading from the Bible that you can read from and see the same message that the Most High hates the Caucasian race and only loves the children of Israel. So, like I said, you understand? Why they complain with the Most High? They stole the world Europeans. Yes, they did. I'm a native Hebrew speaker. Benito, good for you. Sounds like a real hater. God is a hater, and he hates your people. How about that? Benito said, have you seen the Samaritan people that live in the Holy Land? They never left. No sweat. That means they're not the real Jews the Bible speaks of. I'm going to tell you why. Because it says in Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 68, that we would go into slavery by the way of slave ships. We're not supposed to see our land ever again. If they're in the so-called Holy Land, right now, they're not the people they're not the real Israelites. Look, West African. I don't know. Skin folk ain't kinfolk. Not because I have dark skin, I look West African. Africans, they don't look nothing like I do. Listen, I don't look like Burna Boy. I don't look like Michael Blackson. I don't look like Idris Elba. So I don't know. See, that comment is kind of racist. You think all dark skinned people look alike? That comment was kind of racist, but no sweat. I don't give a damn. Good night. Lord be with you. Modern Caucasian, don't look Europeans per se. This is stupid, but no sweat. If you're confused, young man, where you're from and that you're a Hebrew, I don't even know at this point if I should address that comment. Israelite quoted the New Testament. The Israelites were in Roman and Greek captivity, which is how we got the New Testament. And so I don't know what you're talking about. If you want to overcome what God's hate, feel free to overcome God's hate. Who cares? Father, complain with the Most High. Please donate to Austin. Please donate to I.S.U.P.K Austin, Texas. Feel free to donate all your money to I.S.U.P.K Austin, Texas. Go ahead. Tom Burrow said, we support colonization. This is why your people is the most evil people on the face of the earth. If you support colonization, no sweat, you just prove the point. And we support Israel. We support the 12 tribes of Israel. We don't support the state over there that's oppressing Palestinians. You understand? Listen, if you want to talk Hebrew and read the Hebrew, go ahead. I told you we have a Hebrew class, but this is not a topic of the class. I told you the trolls are going to be ignored. So if you want to be a troll, no sweat, feel free to be a troll. You will be ignored. Let's get back to the topic. Now let me show you. Yeah, free Palestine. But guess what? The Palestinians, this is our land too. They're never going to get that land back because it's our land in the first place. If they get it back, the Most High is going to give it to us. So whatever floats your boat. Let's get back to the topic of the class, right? Let me show you, Rasa, my people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that the Most High made us separate. He literally cut us off. That's the term it is used in the Bible. He cut us off from the other nations. You understand? Yes, I hope Trump, who cares whether Trump or not is president? It's just going to fulfill the prophecies that I just told you about. It's going to be more racial events that are going to happen. Whether Trump is president or not, who cares? A devil is a devil, right? But let's go into Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. Trolls will be ignored. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26, and it reads, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, right? So let me ask you in the chat, except the man in the UPK, let me ask you in the chat, what does the word holy means? I already broke it down last week, but for those who are tuning in, what does the word holy means? You understand? Do not donate to Africa. What does the word holy means? King Ephraim, SHALAM, for tuning into class. What does the word holy means? I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds and I'm going to answer the question if y'all can't. What does the word holy mean? The Most High said we need to be holy just like he is holy himself, right? I give up 20 more seconds. What does the word holy means? This man will never even try to read. Listen, you know, it will be ignored. No sweat. So let me break it down for y'all. The word holy, if you really want to talk about Hebrew, the word holy comes from the Hebrew word quadash, which means to be separate. So just like the Most High is separate, right? Just like you can see throughout the Bible, he calls, you know, the name of the Lord. We could find that he is the, not the name, but his title is the God of the children of Israel, not the children of the whole world. He is a separate God specifically for the children of Israel, not everybody. Just like he is holy, meaning he is separate, his children, the 12 tribes of Israel, are to be holy or separate, just like he is. Right? Let's keep reading. Let's read that again, as a matter of fact. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. What does it mean to be severed? What does the word severed means? Anyone could answer, right? So I see y'all in the chat, you want to be active, whatever. You know, don't be a troll. Interact with really the chat. Bring some substance. What does the word severed means? Right? If y'all can answer, no sweat. In 15 seconds, I'm gonna give y'all the answer. But what does the word severed means? Also, anyone on YouTube and Facebook could answer. What does the word severed means? You understand? The Most High said he is holy and he severed us from other people. What does it mean? You understand? Let me get the other precept ready for y'all at the same time. What does the word severed means? Y'all can answer, no sweat. When you get into an accident, or even in war, right? Some accident happened in war where you have to get amputated. That's what it means to be severed. Severed is just like being amputated in a sense where it means to be cut off. The Mosai is holy. He is separate from only for the nation of Israel. And he cut off the nation of Israel from other people. You understand? So it tells you right here, we should not even be gathering. Like whatever Martin Luther King did was against the Mosai. The Mosai cut us off, but he's trying to make us gather together with our enemies. He's trying to make us gather together because he wants to sleep with Becky and Susan and whatever Caucasian name there's out there, Barbie. Who cares? You understand? That the Mosai severed us. You understand? A second. The Mosai severed us, meaning he cut us off from the other people. So that should tell you we should not even be gathering with the people in the first place. It should be, all these racial events should be a wake-up call for y'all. You understand? But now let me show you where the Mosai, not only did he say that he severed us from other people, meaning he cut us off, but that we should gather together before it's too late. That's in the Bible. Before it's too late. I'm not even adding. It's like y'all Christians always do. You understand? I'm not adding nothing. I'm just telling you like it is. Mosai said, gather together before it's too late. Let's go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Right? Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Now, who's the nation not desired now? Because it's telling gather together. Some Christians would say, yeah, everyone that is not this, everyone that is not desired, everyone going through something is not desired. So let's say the Ukrainians are fleeing the war, so they must not be desired. The Afghanis are refugees, they must not be desired. Yeah, refugees from all over Africa, they must not be desired. That's not who it's talking about. It's literally talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, because every single refugee is accepted except any refugee from the 12 tribes of Israel. They got them deporting Mexicans and any Latinos, labeling them as Mexican regardless, at an alarming rate. The Haitians are fleeing Haiti. They're deporting them just as well at an alarming rate. It was so bad that I think it was in 2021. I could be mistaken. I think it was in 2021, right? When the Haitians were fleeing Haiti, they tried to cross the Mexican-Texan border, and they were literally beating them into crossing the border on horsebacks, like it was chattel slavery again. That's how bad it was. You know what happened then? The men of the Lord, 26 to what? 30 men of the Lord of the I.S.U.P.K. went down into Acuña, Mexico, right by Piedras Negras. You understand? And we went to feed the people that were deported. We went into a category 4 danger zone run by the cartels, by the Mexican cartel, right? And we fed the people over there. Like, you understand? Where was the Christian church then? Where was the Muslim mosque? Where was the peaceful Buddhists or Hindus? Where were the trolls that are in the chat right now? What were they doing for the Haitian people? You understand? Y'all like to talk some smack right now in the chat, but where were you? What are you doing? All I hear is crickets, nothing. Well, we're out here risking our life. You understand? You didn't do anything too. Listen, I just told you, go look it up. YouTube, I.S.U.P.K Acuña, Mexico. Listen, we were in Mexico. We brought a whole truckload of toiletries, food, water, clothing. We brought everything they needed right by the Mexican border in a zone 4, in category 4 danger zone of the cartels. Where you didn't do nothing. You're out here trolling in the chat. You ain't doing nothing. I'm waking up my people. I'm letting them know you need to separate from these oppressors. And you're out here trolling in chat. Keep trolling, no sweat. But keep trolling until it's too late. You understand? This is who the nation not desired is. Right? Let's read that again. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O a nation not desired. Verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the shaft, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. Listen, the anger of the Lord. Listen. Hey, it's not gonna be pretty. You see how France was burning down. You see those forest fires in Canada, in Cali on the west coast of all over Canada, as a matter of fact, and Cali. Imagine that all across the face of the earth. And 10 times worse. Imagine fire raining from the sky. I cannot even imagine what the anger of the Lord looks like. But it's not pretty. The Most High said we need to gather together before the anger of the Lord comes upon us, before the Lord burns down the face of the earth for all the wickedness that was done to us. We need to gather together as one. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian men, we need to gather together as the 12 tribes again. Ain't gonna be no northern kingdom. There's gonna be no southern kingdom, right? We're gonna be gathered together as one people, just like we used to be. The only reason why we're divided is because of the white man. Benito Narvaez, I guess, I guess you may be a Latino for Trump, who knows? But you say we're not on the same team. We are on the same team. I guess you don't even know your history. I don't know if you're a so-called Hispanic or if you're a so-called native indigenous. The reason we're divided is because of the Caucasian race. They implemented laws and made sure we cannot even gather together. They made sure we cannot even speak to each other, make business with each other, especially during slavery. So why do we say that we can't gather and we're not on the same team? They made us not be on the same team. They took a team and they divided into 3 parts. They divided the natives, they divided the Hispanics, they divided the Negroes. And then between them, they even try to divide the Negroes within the Negroes. I mean, they divided the African Americans from the Haitians and the West Indians. Between the so-called Latino people, they divided them. The Mexicans don't love the Salvadorians and vice versa, and they don't love the Cubans, whatever. You understand? So they did that, right? And Benito said, we try to hire you, but y'all don't want to work. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's what the white man will make you think. You go around claiming American Indian because you hate yourselves. I don't claim I'm a so-called Native American Indian. I never said that. So stop. No, you're lying yourself. You're of your father, the devil. You're a liar, because I never claimed nothing that I'm a so-called Native American Indian. And all that 9 ether nonsense, it doesn't come from us. You're in the wrong chat. If that's what you're mad about, go look for the 9 ether chat. That's not us. You understand? That's not us. I think you're mad at the wrong person, but that's no sweat. I don't take it personally. You know, feel free to stay, feel free to leave. Who cares at this point? You know, that is not us. The ISPK is not affiliated with any so-called groups out there, whether it's Christian Israelites, Purple Israelites. I don't know. You probably think that we go on the reservation causing trouble. Well, that's not us either. You understand? If you have an issue, no sweat, feel free to inbox me. If not, I mean, you know, stay in the chat, be a troll. Who cares? It is what it is, right? But again, in Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1 and verse 2, the Most High said we need to gather together before it's too late. You understand? Then who it is? It's probably the IUIC. It's probably the 9 Ether people. Who knows? I don't know. It's not us. It's not the I.S.U.P.K. You'll never see the I.S.U.P.K. just causing trouble within the Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian community. If you think you see them, produce a clip. Show us. But besides that, listen, don't make accusation if you can't prove nothing, because we're not affiliated with anybody out there. You understand? It's not us. I mean, I'll show you. Go look at the clip. We're in Acuña, Mexico, feeding the people. You understand? Feeding the people they want to deport. We're on a reservation making donations. So I don't know what you're talking about. If you're mad at someone, be mad at the IUIC, the purple sodomite police. You understand? Be mad at the Sakari camp who having Passover in a strip club. Be mad at whoever you want to be mad at. If you want to be mad at us, you're going to be mad at us for no reason. And frankly, we don't have time to care about that. It is what it is at this point. You understand? God only cares about Latinos, natives, and black. And God is racist. We already spoke about that. If you have any issues with it, listen, file a complaint with the Most High. I'm going to give you the scripture again in case you missed it. Romans 9, verse 13 to 15. There's nothing you can do about whoever God loves and God doesn't love. As a matter of fact, before I just showed you where we're supposed to gather together as one people. Before I show you that we're not supposed to love our society and we're supposed to separate from it, I'm going to show you what God thinks for those people who came late into class. I'm going to show you what God thinks about the other nation who are not Israel, right? Let's go back into the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. We're going to start at verse 54. All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 54, and it says, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. So every nation, we all come from Adam, right? There's no disputing that. We all come from Adam, right? No sweat. Let's keep reading. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. So out of all the nations that come from Adam is a people that the Most High chose. You understand? Now, for context purposes, we're going to go into the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6, and we're going to show you who is the chosen people of the Most High, right? Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6 says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. We already broke down what the word holy means, which means to be separate from the Hebrew word kodash, right? Let's keep reading. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Now the children of Israel are the chosen people unto the Most High God. That's who he's talking about in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 54 when it says the people that also whom thou hast chosen. It's talking about the nation of Israel. Now let's go back to 2nd Ezra, jump down to verse 56. Let's see what the Most High thinks about the other nation that is not chosen, right? I guess the real Benda and Benito are Jewish people, are Salakim. Yiddish people, they don't speak Hebrew. They say Kadosh, there's no O into Kum. Good night. They speak nonsense. There's no O, there's no such vowels in the Hebrew, right? But Rufeja, just focus. You ask a question, I'm going to show you that what God thinks about nations that are not so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 50. As for the other people who are not chosen, right? Let's read. Thou hast said that they are nothing. Listen, the Chinese are nothing to God. Caucasian race, we already read that God hates them, but he said they are nothing. The Arabs are nothing. The East Indians are nothing. Let's keep reading. But be like unto spittle. Good night. The Most High, this is what the Most High thinks about the nations who are not part of the 12 tribes of Israel, who are not so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives. He thinks of you like spittle. What is spittle? You see when you talk to someone and there's a little spit coming out your mouth, you know, that little, you know, little dust of spit. That's what the Most High thinks of you. Spit on the ground. That's what the Most High thinks of you. Let's keep reading. And had likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So when you fill up a cup and there's water dropping down from that cup, that little drop of water, that's insignificant. That's what the Most High thinks of the people who are not part of the 12 tribes. You are insignificant. You're nothing. Understand? That's what it is, right? So now, let's go back into the topic. I just showed you that the Most High hates the other nation who are not Israel. I just showed you we should gather together, and I'm going to show you where the Most High said that we should not even love a society and that we need to separate from them. But Nito, I told you already, you want to be a troll, you're going to be ignored. I don't know why. You could stay in the chat, but you will be ignored because you want to be a troll. So whatever floats your boat. You understand? It says, show love to your enemies and your neighbors in the Bible too. Show me the scripture and I'm going to break it down for you because I know exactly what you're talking about. But if you don't understand, just don't be saying stuff that you don't understand. Right? It's all about context because God said, John 3:16, God so loved the world, but he was not talking about the whole planet Earth. You understand? It's all about context. He was only talking about the world or society of the Israelites. Right? So now, let me show you in John, talking about love the world, right? Let me show you that world or society the Most High said not to love. You understand? 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, the Most High said, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. The Most High said, don't love the society, don't love the white man's empire. It's like they love the Caucasian man's empire. You understand? Don't love the Caucasian man empire. Don't love the society of the oppressor. That's what it means when it says, don't love the world, nor the things that are in the world. What are the things that are in the world? We're going to show you right now. Right? If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Let's stop right here. Let's break it down step by step. What is the love of the Father? Because y'all want to talk about love, love, love. God doesn't hate it, and whatever the case is. Let me show you what is love. Right? Listen, yeah, I'm not even gonna break down John 3:16. I'm gonna break down John 3:16 in a second. This doesn't even make sense. God doesn't love everybody. We just read in Romans 9:13, God hates Esau. He hates the Caucasian race. I just showed you God only loves the chosen people. I don't know why you want to be stubborn. No sweat. Be a troll in the chat. So now let me show you what the love of God is, right? 1 John chapter 5, verse 3, it says, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So the love of God is to keep his commandments, right? Now, Christians will say, well, I keep the commandments. Muslims will say they keep the commandments too. Everyone say they keep the commandments. I'm going to show you where it's not possible for everyone to keep the commandments because the commandments were not given to everybody. And then we're going to go back to 1 John, right? Again, I have to break it down step by step for y'all so you understand. Right? If I'm going too fast, let me know. But this class is not going to be too long either way. We're going to go to Psalms chapter 147. Psalms chapter 147. We're going to start at verse, 19 or 20? Psalms chapter 147, verse 19 reads, he sheweth his word unto Jacob, and his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Now it shows you right there what are the words of God. The words of God are the commandments, you understand? And he sheweth his word and his statutes unto Israel. If you look at what are the statutes are the commandments. You could Google it yourself. What is the definition of a statute? Statute is a law. The law of God are the commandments. Anyone sending in a request to join the class, you're not going to join the class. It is a class. It is not our weekly podcast. If you have any questions or comment, put it in the chat. going to be a troll, you're going to be ignored. But if you have any question or comment, go ahead and put it in the chat. But I'm not accepting any requests from anyone outside One West I.S.U.P.K. Understand? So now, like I showed you, not everyone has the commandments. The commandment was only shown to the nation of Israel. If you don't believe me, let's keep reading. Psalms 147 verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Let's stop right here. The Most High said he has not dealt so with any nation. Not every single nation knows the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. We just read in 1 John chapter 5 verse 3 that the love of God is to follow the commandments. So how can you follow the commandments if you don't know the commandments? Y'all trying to make it sound like the Bible is difficult to understand, but it's straightforward. The love of God is follow the commandments. God did not give the commandments to everybody. So how can you follow the commandments if you were not given the commandments? If you cannot understand that, I mean, maybe you need to go back to grade school or kindergarten, learn how to read again. Who knows? Whatever. You understand? But let's get back to 1 John chapter 2 verse 15, where the Most High said not to love the society that we're living in, this oppressive society that we're living in. And I'm talking only to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, because even the New Testament that the Christian, every single Christian, a Catholic, Baptist trying to adhere to, is only for the nation of Israel. The Gentiles that he's speaking to, that Christ sent the 12 apostles to teach, were not other nations. They were Israelites living among other nations. But that's a topic for another class. All right. Again, 1 John chapter 2 verse 15, which basically breaks down John 3:16. God said, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. If you love the things that are in the world, in this society, the love of the Father is not in you. Following the commandments is not in you if you love whatever is in this society. What is in this society, you may ask? Let's keep reading. Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life is not of the Father, but of the world. That pride where you think someone bumps into you, you have to beat them up bad, instant, it is not of the world. The most, you need to forgive your brothers. You understand? If you get into an argument, you don't forgive your brothers because this society teaches you that you're the meanest and the baddest. It is not of the Most High. It is not of the Most High. What is the lust of the eyes? All those whores, the strip clubs, you understand? The lust of the flesh, that you want to smoke, everything that may look good, all glitter and gold, all that glitter that is not gold, this is the lust of the eyes, if you understand what I'm saying. Right? This is not of the Most High. This is not of the Father. You understand? But it is what it is. If you love this society, you hate the Most High, because this society everything that's in this society goes against the Most High. Damn right. Canada, weed is legal in Canada from since 2017, 2018. The Most High say you're not supposed to smoke. You understand? Listen, they will encourage you to get drunk. And I was in Toronto last week where we have camp, right? In Toronto, there's a safe injection site where they monitor you and make sure that the drugs that you have are safe for you to consume. You understand? SHALAM YAHANNA of Mat Koyak, the water for 2 and another one. You understand? But everything that is of the society, you understand, is not of the Most High. And before I show you that, not only we should not love the society, but we should separate from it, I'm going to show you that, the word world doesn't mean the whole planet Earth. This is, not even a misconception, but at this point, it's not even an illusion. It's a delusion that the Christian church tells you, right? We're going to go into Luke chapter 2, verse 1. And we believe that the white man is the devil. Yes, we do, because he is the devil the Bible speaks of. Devil meaning deceiver, meaning liar. He is the deceiver, the liar on the face of the earth. And he is the most evil, wicked bastard on the face of the earth. You cannot prove me wrong. He committed genocide even He committed genocide, and now he calls himself an Australian. He calls himself a European. He calls himself a Canadian, an American. He calls himself Mexican. He calls himself Colombian. The president of Colombia, he's a Spaniard. He enslaved the real Colombian people. The president of Mexico, he's a Spaniard. He enslaved the Mexican people. This is the past, though? No. Today, the Australian people, you don't think about dark-skinned Aborigines. You think about Iggy Azalea. You think about Caucasian people. Why? Because they slaughtered the Aborigines. When you think about people, how is that not evil? Benito, that's what I'm saying. This is evil. This is why we call the Caucasian race the most evil people on the face of the earth. They will go right here, slaughter the Mexicans, slaughter the Mexica people, the Azteca people, you understand? And now you have a president in Mexico that's not even Mexican. He's a Spaniard. You understand? We sucker punch people. And listen, Benito, show proof of what you say that we do. Where did we sucker punch anyone in Baltimore? What are you talking about? You understand? If you can't show proof, you will just be ignored at this point because you're just saying nonsense at this point. Just show proof. Show proof. Show proof of what you claim that we did wrong. That's it. Show proof. Post a video, make a clip about it. It don't matter. You understand? And that's a goddamn lie. Listen, if you can't show proof, listen, you just be ignored. Listen, the I.S.U.P.K, I have to repeat it again. The I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, is not affiliated with anyone else out there. If anything happened to you, if you were sucker punched by any Israelites out there, it was not us. Listen, listen, they were not the I.S.U.P.K. Benito, I'm telling you, it was not us. If you said that was us, show us proof that it was us. I guarantee you it was not us. We don't just go out here assaulting people. That's not what we do. We advocate for self-defense, but it was not us. But it was a black. Listen, you think every black people sell drugs. Does that mean that every single black person sells drugs? Mexican people sell drugs. I mean that every Mexican people sell drugs. If you want to put all eggs in the same basket, you're doing the exact same thing that the Caucasian race is doing to our people, whether it's the black people, the Mexicans, the Latinos, or the Native Indians. You understand? That's exactly what you're doing, right? I'm not acting like I'm an angel. I'm not an angel. I'm a man. But let me show you, right? So trolls will be ignored. If you have any proof of your claim, Benito, show proof of your claim. Otherwise, like I told you, it is not us. Not all black people are the same. Shit, not all Mexicans are illegal immigrants, right? Why would I put all Mexicans in the same basket but they're not all illegal immigrants? They're not even illegal immigrants in the first place, but you get my point, right? Not all so-called people of color are criminals. So the same way you're putting all eggs in the same basket, that's what you get from the oppressor who's taught you how to do that. Yeah, let me just break down Luke chapter 2, verse 1. You understand? And then I'm going to show you that we're supposed to separate from these oppressors. Okay? Benito, if you can't show proof of anything that you're saying, you're going to be ignored at this point. It is what it is. So Luke chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Now, if John chapter 3:16 says God so loved the world, right? What world was he talking about? Because in Luke chapter 2, verse 1, it says, you know, that the world should be taxed. Who was it talking about? What world should be taxed? You understand? It's not talking, again, I'm gonna just break it down for time's sake. I'm gonna break it down. The word world meant society. In Luke chapter 2, verse 1, the world was talking about the Roman Empire and all the territories that the Roman Empire acquired, who were being made part of the Roman Empire. You understand? So the word world, it depends on the context. It doesn't mean the whole planet Earth. God so loved the world is talking about the Israelite world, the Israelite society. Love not the world is talking about the society of our oppressor. And in Luke chapter 2, verse 1, world is talking about the Roman Empire again. You understand? But now let me show you that the Most High told us that when we have to pick a side, we have to separate from this world that we live in, this oppressive world. And don't think you have to separate physically where, oh, I'm going to flee America. Because I have a friend tell me, yeah, I'm going to flee America. I'm going to go live with my family in Peru. Listen, the war is coming to Peru. Peru is being, listen, the people in Peru are oppressed. You understand? The people in Peru are oppressed. The people in Canada are oppressed on reservation. The people of Jamaica, Martinique, St. Lucia are oppressing the islands. You understand? So I'm going to show you that it's not physical separation. It's really spiritual separation where you don't partake in the lifestyle of this oppressive society. You understand? Benito, how about you prove your claim first before you keep talking? How about that? Because you can't prove that we hurt our people. You can't prove that we're violent towards anybody. You understand? You can't prove that we're the ones who sucker punch you. Understand? You prove your claim. You're making claims. You have to prove what you're talking about. I don't have to prove nothing. You have to prove what you're talking about. I already told you proof of where we feed the people on the Mexican border. Look up I.S.U.P.K, Mexico, mission to Acuña. You understand? You're saying black people. Listen, aren't Latino people killing Latinos? What's your point? What are you trying to say? You think only black people hurt black people? Aren't Mexicans killing each other? Mexicans, all Latino people, also called Negroes, also called Native Indians, need to stop killing each other. It's not about blacks, it's not about brown, it's not about native. It's all about us. Yeah, white people are devils. Devils being deceivers. They're the most evil bastards on the face of the earth. You understand? Hey, Shalom, one in the chat, what for tuning in. Listen, Benito, what are you doing to stop brown on brown? What are you doing to stop Latino on Latino violence? What are you doing? You want to talk about us, but look in the mirror. Go in the mirror, you understand, and tell me, what are you doing? Show us proof of the work that you're doing. I never said I was from America, so I don't know what you're talking about. But no sweat. Now that I showed you that we should be separate, you understand? Listen, trolls will be ignored. Again, I'm gonna start repeating that. If you want to be a troll, you're gonna be ignored. If you want to put any substance, if you want to make a claim and show proof, go ahead. Have questions, ask your questions. If you want to be a troll, you'll be ignored, especially for time's sake. Now, I showed you where we should pick a side. The Most High made us separate. We should gather together. I'm gonna show you where we should not. I showed you where we should not love the society that we live in. Show you where the Most High said that we need to separate from this society that we live in. Right? Let's go into Revelation chapter 18. We're gonna start, chapter 18. We're gonna start at verse 2, as a matter of fact, right? For context purpose. In Revelation chapter 18, verse 2, it says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now, what does that mean? Understand? Babylon the Great is what we would call, modern day, what is called today America, and the other empires following after America, whether it's Canada, whether it's France, whether it's the UK, whether it's Spain. You understand? This is Babylon. Because what? They modeled themselves after the Roman Empire, who modeled itself after the Egyptian Empire, who modeled itself after the Babylonian Empire, which is why it's called Babylon, right? And Babylon has become the habitation, or for lack of better words, let's say the headquarters of every foul and clean spirit, meaning you could find all manner of sins in this society that we live in. They're allowing same-sex marriage. They're making our Native Indian brothers and sisters that they can be two-spirited people, which is nonsense, right? They create division between our people. You can damn near be a drug addict and not suffer any consequence from it. You understand? Benito said, my ancestors conquered this whole hemisphere. I mean, Benito, I think at this point, you're not even, I think at this point, you're probably, see, I understand. I think at this point, you're probably a Spaniard. If you're a Spaniard, I understand. I understand. If you're a Spaniard, you are a devil, regardless. I understand now. But no sweat. If your ancestors conquered this whole hemisphere, you're a Spaniard, right? If listen, you understand? If you're not a Spaniard, you're brown. I mean, you're my people. I don't see what's the problem. If you really have a problem, it is what it is. It's in your blood to win. Well, tell me, why didn't you go and win Texas back? Instead, go win Texas back. Show us the work that you do. Instead, do whatever you want. Feel free to listen. It's a free world. Feel free to do whatever you want. It is what it is, right? But Revelation chapter 18 verse 2 said, you know, that this Babylon is the headquarters of all matter of sin. Let's keep reading. Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of a fornication. What is fornication? For time's sake, I'm going to give it to y'all, right? Fornication is unlawful sex. And this is a metaphor, meaning that all the nations drunk of the wine, meaning they partook in the sinful lifestyle of the American society, whether, you know, whether it's the LGBT, whether the Rainbow Coalition lifestyle, whether it's being a drug addict, whether it's being a criminal, just like the oppressor is the worst criminal on the face of the earth. You understand? Let's keep reading. Right. And the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Just like I said, you know, all the nations are partaking in the sinful lifestyle of the American society, right? That's what it means. Let's keep reading. Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. The Most High is saying that, you know, the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and so-called Native Indians are supposed to separate spiritually from the society of America, right? We're not supposed to be eating pork. We're not supposed to be divisive or fighting against each other. We're not supposed to be criminals. We're not supposed to be partaking any of our sins. Otherwise, we're going to feel the anger of the Lord. We're going to feel, you understand, the plagues that are come into America, right? This is what happens when we don't want to separate. This is why, just like we read earlier, we have to separate. We have to pick a side, and I have to be with the oppressor, with the oppressor. If we side with the oppressor, listen, again, you cannot side with the oppressor and with the oppressed, because the oppressor is oppressing the oppressed. Instead, you cannot side with the good and the bad and be lukewarm. You can't do that. You cannot be a Latino for Trump and be proud to be Latino. It's not going to work. You understand? You cannot be an individualite and be like, yeah, I have my own belief, and you want to be with your people. It doesn't work like that. Just like we read, the Most High told us to be separate. And the Most High said we're above all people in the first place anyways, just like we read earlier, right? And there is nothing that you can do about it. Now, I'm going to show you. I'm going to get 3 more precepts, and then we're going to end the class for time's sakes. You understand? Right? We're going to go into Revelation again. We're going to go chapter 13, verse 9. I'm going to start there. You understand? Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. If any of y'all have any understanding, they are going to understand this. Right? Especially those in the chat who want to be troll or whatever the case is. If y'all have any understanding, understand this. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Those people who put us in chains, they will go in chains. That's what it means. I have to break it down real quick for y'all, because for time's sake, we're going to end the class just now, right? Let's keep reading. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Peyton Gendron, he killed with a sword. Dylan Roof killed with a sword. That man over there in Jacksonville, Florida, killed with a sword. You understand? Cortez, Christopher Columbus, Napoleon, the Crown, you understand? They killed with a sword. And they will be slaughtered with a sword. Is that let's jump down to the. So why this is why you need to be separate. You don't want to be joining and gathered together with a nation that not only oppresses you, murders you down in the streets, and then deports you left and right. That whose empire is crumbling down. You don't want to join with it. You don't want to join with a nation that is going in chains. Why? You understand? Let's go into Second Ezra's chapter 6. Go back to Second Ezra's chapter 6, as a matter of fact. Right? You don't want to join with an empire that's crumbling down. You understand? You don't want an empire that's crumbling down and while your empire is being built up. Right? Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Listen, the Caucasian man, his world is ending, and our world is following after that. His world is gonna crumble down, understand, and is not gonna be raised up ever again. I'm gonna show you that as well, right? It is the end of the Caucasian empire. This is the last empire before a black, brown, and native empire. You understand? It is the end of a Caucasian empire. There's nothing you can do about it, right? You could decide to side with white people. You could decide to side with any politician, with the liberal, the Republicans, the conservatives. Who cares? But it is the end of their empire, right? Let's go read it. Let's go down to da da da. We're gonna get 3 more verses. As a matter of fact, let's stay in the Apocrypha. Let me show you when you have no choice but to pick a side. Right, 4 more precepts, and then I'm gonna end the class. Let's go into Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13, verse 15. Right, where it says to you that you're gonna have no choice but to pick a side, just like we read at the beginning of the class. Right. So Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 15, it says, "Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor," meaning you're gonna have to side with your own people. When the race wars pops up, you're gonna have to, to side with your own people. That's what it means. That's really what it means. Let's keep reading. Verse 16: "All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like." All flesh consort according to kind. Caucasians are gonna be with Caucasians. Arabs are gonna be with Arabs, and that's what it is. So that's why you're gonna have to be set apart, right? Let's go into Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14, where it's basically saying the same thing, but in a sense where it says that every nation will separate from gathering together and will join with their own people. Right? So Isaiah chapter 13, we're going to read verse 40. "And it shall be as a chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taken up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own country." Every man will flee into his own country and will go into his with their own people. That's what it's saying, right? One of my thoughts on black Muslim is this desert Christianity. That's all it is. Islam is just desert Christianity. It is not a religion for black people, Hispanic or Native Indian whatsoever. You understand? Their prophet apparently was sleeping with a 9-year-old, so we definitely do not want to follow that. This is a topic for another class, but whatever. I hope I answered your question, Feja, right? So we just read in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14, that every nation is going to separate themselves and join together, right? All of us are halfway at sea. I'm not even, you're being ignored at this point. And I'm going to show you that this, like, the impending doom that's coming is not a is not a black or white issue whatsoever. Hispanic is not a race. I understand. Latino is not a race either. Black is not a race. So what is your point? At this point, let's ignore Benito. He always want to come with nonsense and make claims with no proof, no sweat. When it comes with proof, substance, whatever, he won't be ignored anymore. Right? See exactly what I'm talking about. I think he's slow. I think someone dropped him on the head when he was a baby. That's why he's slow. And no sweat. Isaiah, this with Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21, right? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. It reads, "Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers." Again, it's not a black or white issue, whatever the case is. It's not a black or white issue, right? It's really about the action that they did against us. It's about Christopher Columbus slaughtering the natives, slaughtering the so-called people we call natives today, people we call Latinos, people we call Negroes today. This is the reason why. It's not a black or white issue. It's about Napoleon destroying Haiti. You understand? It's about every single crime they committed against us. It's about the crime that their forefathers committed and that their benefits that they reaped from their forefathers. That's what it's about. Let's keep reading. That they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. This empire is going to crumble down after this slaughter. Listen, they're not going to ever rise up ever again. There's not going to be any Chicago, any Montreal, Toronto, any London, any Paris. It's going to be over with. The next kingdom that is to come is not going to be a kingdom of oppressors, right? Let's read two more scriptures and then we're going to end the class, right? Just like I showed you in Revelation chapter 13, verse 9 and 10, what's going to happen to them, to our oppressors, and to other nations, the Africans as well, the Africans, the Asians, the East Indians, right? They're all going to go in chains and they're all going to be slaughtered. But the Caucasian race is going to be totally eradicated, exterminated from the face of the earth. That's not a personal opinion. That's what it says in the scriptures, right? But before they're exterminated, let me show you what it says, right? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land." So the nation of Israel, the so-called Latinos, so-called Negroes and Native American Indians will be set in their own land again, right? "And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." Now, it means the strangers or the other nations will be joined with us. No sweat. But let's see what would be each other's role in the land, right? In the land of the Lord. Let's see each other's roles, right? Rufeja, about 3 women. What about 3 women? Are they talking about the gods that the Muslim worship? Yeah, they worship 3 women. Don't even know. If that's what your question is, that's what you're asking about, inquiring about, right? In Arthur Morgan, I'm not twisting scriptures. You can read Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. I'm giving you the scriptures because you could follow as well. If you can't follow, that's not my fault. But no sweat. Skin color is irrelevant. I never said skin color was relevant. You understand? I read Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21, where they're going to be slaughtered for the iniquity of their forefathers, regardless of skin color. You understand? It's not talking about white people do like that. No sweat. Listen, Arthur Morgan, I'm going to show you the strangers of their heathen nations, so-called, whether it's Caucasian, whether it's Asians, whether it's East Indians. I'm going to show you their role in the land in the kingdom of the Lord, right? I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you where it says the Most High will cut off white people forever. So Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2, it says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place." Now the nation of Israel will take the heathen nations and will put them in their place, right? Let's keep reading. "And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord." Now those strangers, Arthur Morgan, those Caucasian people, those Asians, will be a possession unto the land, unto the nation of Israel. And the nation of Israel will possess them. What is possess them? We mean we will own them. You understand? Let's keep reading. "For servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were." Now, we will possess them as servants and handmaids. That means slaves. If that doesn't stop, if you have a problem with that, I mean, like I said, file a complaint with the Most High. I didn't write the book. I didn't write the scriptures. I'm just reading it. I'm just teaching it. If you have an issue, file a complaint with God. That's all you could do, right? And we will be captors who captives we were. We were captors. We were captives to the Africans. We were captives to the East Indians. We were captives to the Iranians, the Persians. We were captives to the Caucasian race. And we will have captives whose captives we were, meaning we were all them as slaves. It's not me. It's for yourself, right? And they shall rule over the oppressors. I mean, if you don't know who the oppressor is at this, I don't know if I can help you with that. You know, if you don't feel oppressed, it is what it is. You know, don't feel oppressed, right? Yeah, the Jews are the Palestinians and Armenians. The Jews are not the people right next to Palestine. It's not the Jews, the synagogue of Satan, as the Bible calls them. And then, let me show you, Arden, that the Messiah is going to eradicate the Caucasian race. You're going to answer with that. And no, Benda, that is not hate speech. The Messiah hates the Caucasian race. Ready? Romans chapter 9, verse 13. But you want me to read exactly what it says? I will read it. Don't worry about it. You understand? To the book of Obadiah. Chapter 1, we're going to show you the most eradicate them, right? Obadiah chapter 1, verse 9, it says, and the mighty shall be dismayed that the end that everyone of Sakan, Sadak in then we're about the end of the class anyways, but the water for tuning in. For you Arthur that said the Edomites in give me a moment. You understand? It's chapter 1, the start of verse 9, right? It says one, we were there, right? Or let me start from the beginning. And thy mighty men or temen shall be dismayed to the end that every one, not half of them, it says every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. It says every one of the mount of Esau. Esau meaning the forefather of Edom, or the forefather of the Edomites, the kingdom of Idumea, the Caucasian race, in other words, right? They will be cut off. Everyone, every single one of them, not just the Russians, not just the French, not just the Americans, every one of the mount of Esau will be cut off by slaughter. Slaughter is not hugs and kisses, slaughter. I mean, if you don't know what goes on in the slaughterhouse, Google it, YouTube it, whatever, look it up, right? Let's keep reading. Verse 10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. You understand? Forever. Right? It's not about skin color. There's some dark-skinned Caucasian people. Bob Marley is not a brother. Bob Marley is a dark-skinned Caucasian man, because you are of the seed of your father. So I hope I just answered your question, Arthur Morgan. It doesn't matter whether your best friend is the best Caucasian man in the world. You know, say he tried to free the slaves back in the days. Every single one of them, every single person of the mount of Esau, every single Edomite, every single Caucasian person will be cut off by slaughter forever. That's what it says. You understand? Well, that's it. We're gonna end the class. You understand? To water for everyone tuning in, interacting in the chat, whether you were a troll or not, it doesn't matter. To water for the interaction, meaning thank you for the interaction. You understand? We're gonna end the class. And we're gonna tune in next week to the class. Next week's Brotherhood class will be in French. It will be tuning live from I.S.U.P.K Montreal on YouTube, I.S.U.P.K Montreal on Twitter, I.S.U.P.K Montreal on TikTok. You understand? Tune into the classes, right? There are the sign-in links in the chat of YouTube and Facebook. If you want to be part of the school, sign in to the sign-in links and the sign-out links if you want. You understand? This is not mandatory, but if you want to come learn this truth, right? I just answer your question. It's not about skin color, Arthur Morgan. I just told you, Bob Marley is a Caucasian man. And he's dark skinned. But like I said, this is gonna be a topic for another class. So if you want, just follow the host. If you want to tune into that class, if you want that question answered for the next class, because we're about to end the class right now, right? Follow the host. If you want to have your questions answered for next class, save your question. I'm answered for next Tuesday. Like I told you, it's gonna be class in French. Tomorrow we have the law class taught by Officer 1000 Zabadia, broadcasted on I.S.U.P.K Toronto, YouTube and TikTok, and I.S.U.P.K Canada on Facebook. And we're also gonna have the scripture breakdown class every Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring in all questions, all comments, whatever the case is, right? I just answered your question again. I'm not gonna repeat myself. You are of the seed of your father. If you want to have more, if you want to ask more questions, hey, tune in next week, tune in tomorrow, whatever the case is. That's how we're going to end the class, Israel. Let me get the security announcements, right? We are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months period in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department a teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like. Upcoming Holy Convocation, we have coming up the memorial of blowing of trumpets, which is the first day of the 7th month, which falls on Friday, the 15th of September. And you can read more about it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminder to all Akim and Aquatian to check the bulletin board in the hallway of the school if they have a physical location. And if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that said, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amajam, which means to stand in the Hebrew. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Amajam Shabbat, Amajam, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yashai Brakatam. You understand? It means, Lord, in the name of Christ, bless you, right? Yajamata, which means heads down. Sar, which means to turn. So turn and face the sisters. If there's any in your presence, we're going to give them a courtesy salute as well. Men of Israel, Amajam, Shabbat, Amajam, Barak, Yahweh, Shamar, Alatan, Ba'ashim Yahushai, meaning Lord, watch over you in the name of Christ. Yajamata, which means hands down, class dismissed. We'll see you next week. You understand? To anyone who has questions, who have unanswered questions, tune in, follow the host. Tune in next week to have your questions answered. Tune in tomorrow, tune in this Saturday, tune in next week to have your questions answered. Hey, Shalom, Israel.